welcome back. My name is Victor. Now I want to continue from where we stopped, number 11 for the WAEC question 2019 mathematics objective. This question is about substitution of ratio. We have two methods. We can use the direct substitution, which is faster, or we just regard it as m over n equals to 2 over 1, where we divide all the terms in this expression by n squared. Let's go with the first method. Direct substitution, and where I find m, I'll put 2, and where I find n, I'll put 1. So let's go 3, 2 squared minus 2, 1 squared, all over 2 squared, then 2 times 1. Alright. 3 times 2 squared, that's 3 times 4, we have 12. Minus 2 times 1 squared, that's minus 2 times 1, minus 2. Alright, 2 squared is 4, then plus 2 times 1, we have 2. So 12 minus 2, we have 10. 4 plus 2, we have 6. And we subdivide 2 here, we have 5. 2 here, we have 3. And option B is the correct answer. But if you don't want to use this method, we can divide all the terms by n squared, as I've said. So we have this other method, n squared minus 2n squared over n squared, m squared over n squared, plus mn over n squared. But the first one is by factorization of power. We have this will cancel this, we have minus 2. Also factorizing the power, common power of 2 for the numerator and denominator. This n cancel one of the n here, so we are going to have plus m over n. And by substituting this fraction 2 over 1, n where I say m over n, we have 3 2 over 1 squared minus 2, 2 over 1 squared plus 2 over 1. Don't forget 2 over 1 is same as 2, so I will refer to it as 2. So 3 times 2 squared minus 2, and then 2 squared plus 2. 3 times 2 squared, that's 3 times 4, 12, 12 minus 2, and then 2 squared, 4 plus 2, 6. Alright, so we're going to have 12 minus 2, which is 10, 4 plus 2, 6. The same procedure, divide by 2, which have 5 over 3. Option B. Alright, number 12. So this is about variation. It combines both direct variation and inverse variation. So h varies directly as p. H varies directly as p, and inversely as the square of y. Inversely as the square of y. Now the proportionality sign here will change to two things. To change to equal sign, and then k in between the h and the p over y squared. Alright, but when we multiply the k with the p over y squared, we have this on the right hand side. Okay, now we'll be given the values of hp and hp and y to be 1, 8 and 2 respectively. So h is 1, p is 8, and y is 2. Don't forget our y is squared, so we have a squared. Alright, so 1 equals to 8k, 2 squared is 4. When we divide, this implies a new equation. So 4 in 8 is 2, so we have 1 equals to 2k. And when we divide both sides by 2, this implies a new equation. We're going to have 2 cancel 2, so our k equals to 1 over 2. Alright, so having known this, we'll substitute back into this problem. To this equation, sorry. So we have h equals to 1 over 2 multiplying p y squared. So we have 1 times p is p, and then 2 times y squared is y squared. So correct option here for the relationship between hp and y, or you say finding h in terms of p and y. The correct answer is option C. Alright, the next one, number 13. Number 13 is about solving quadratic equations. We can use the quadratic formula, but I would like us to go with the factorization method. Now, the first thing is to establish your product, and that's by looking at it already. It has been arranged in descending powers of x, 4x squared minus 16x raised to power 1, and then 15x raised to power 0. The x raised to power 0 is hidden because x raised to power 0 is 1, so left us with the constant 15 there. So we multiply the term with the highest power of your unknown with the constant. That gives us 60x squared as a product. And then the sum is always the middle term, which from this descending order of power is our minus 16x, which is our term with unknown with power 1. All right. Now we start with analyzing the product. What are the two factors that will give us 60x squared? Simple. Some people might discard the x squared and the x in the product and the sum, but I just want to take it along. So what are the factors that will give us 60x squared? That's 10x and 6x. All right. But if I work with this, if I multiply these two, I will get the product. But if I sum them together, I will not get this. So I would like us to use the negative form of it. So when we multiply these two, minus 10x and minus 6x, we're going to get 60x squared as a product. And when we add up minus 10x plus minus 6x, we're going to get the sum, which is minus 16x. Now we're going to use this 2p now. And what does it mean? We dissolve this middle term into minus 10x and into minus 6x. So we have 4x squared minus 10x minus 6x plus 15 equals to 0. Looking at the first two terms on the left, what is the HCF? HCF is 2x, so divide the two terms by 2x. When we divide the first one by 2x, that is 4x squared by 2x, we're going to have 2x. Dividing minus 10x by 2x, we're going to have minus 5. The last two terms also, looking at that too, we're going to divide the same way. And when we divide by the HCF of minus 6x and 15 is minus 3. When we divide minus 6x by minus 3, we're going to have positive 2x. Alright, when we divide minus 6x by minus 3, then when we divide positive 15 by minus 3, we're going to have minus 5. Now, we have an HCF also. The HCF is the linear expression in the bracket. Divide the first one by 2x minus 5. And what do we have? We're going to have 2x. Alright. Divide the second one too by 2x minus 5. We're going to have minus 3 as the quotient. Alright. Now, these two factors are equal to 0. And in algebra, when two factors multiply to give us 0, it's either the first one is 0 or the second is 0. Then we transfer on this first equation, transfer minus 5 to the right hand side, we're going to have positive 5. Also for the second one, transferring minus 3 to the right, we are going to have positive 3. Okay, and we divide this by 2 here, cancel, we have x equals to 5 over 2, which means 2.5. And then for the second one, we divide both sides by 2, x is 3 over 2, which is the same thing as 1 whole number 1 over 2 in mixed fraction. And the correct option here is option B. Okay, 1.5 or 2.5, option B. All right. The next question is about, it's a numerical process question that has to do with evaluating. Now I'd like us to do it one step at a time, just converting the numerators to fractions. So we have 42 over 10 raised to power 2, because 0.42 is 2 decimal places, so 10 raised to power 2 will divide 42. And that's 100 divided by 2.5, and the 2.5 in fraction is also, because 2.5 is in 1 decimal place, so we divide 25 by 10 raised to power 1. All right. Then the denominator of 0.5 is a 1 decimal place number, so we're going to divide 5 by 10 raised to power 1. All right, times 2.05. Just divide 205 without the decimal by 10 raised to power 2, because 2.05 was originally 2 decimal places, so divided by 10 raised to power 2, which is 100, we have this. All right. Now, when we change for the original numerator, this part here, when we change the division to times, we're going to have a switch. 10 moves up, 25 comes down. All right. And then when we multiply 5 with 205, we're going to have 1025. 10 times 100, we're going to have 1000. Divided the numerator back, we have this 10 cancel 10 here. All right. So we're going to have 42 over 250 all divided by 1025 over 1000. All right, or better still, if you don't want to use that approach, just simply use the division sign here, divided by 1025 over 1000. When we change the division to times, we're going to have a switch here. The denominator comes to numerator and the numerator comes to denominator. We have 1025. Now 250 is 1, 250 is 4 times. All right, so when we multiply 4 times 42, we're going to have 168 divided by 1025. Okay, now if we're going to use our calculator here, all right, we'll divide 168 divided by 1025, and the answer is 0.1639. We can discard the rest since all the answers are given just 3 decimal places. Okay, so the answer is 0.1639. And how do we write this answer in standard form? Because we have to leave our answer in standard form. And the final answer will be 1.639 times 10 raised to the power minus 1. And the correct option is option C. All right. Number 15. Okay. We have simplified log 6 base 10 minus 3 log 3 base 10 plus 2 over 3 log 27 base 10. All right. The first is to transfer the power. So we have the power here comes here. We have 3 raised to the power 3 plus log 10. Transferring it 2 over 3 as power of 27 as well. 27 raised to the power 2 over 3. All right. Log 6 base 10. 3 raised to the power 3 is 27. So we have base 10. Now, the 27 raised to the power 2 over 3. The 3 here serves as the cube root of 27. So what's the cube root of 27? That's 3. And then the power 2. That gives us 3 raised to the power 2 is what? We have 9. So I'm going to change this to 9. All right. Okay. Now let us rearrange all the positive logs first, followed by the last term, which is positive log 9 base 10 minus log 27 base 10. All right. Factorize like more or less like factorization. Log 10 is common. Then by laws of logarithm, we multiply 6 with 9 because there's a plus here originally. So we change the plus to times 9, and the minus we change to division 27. So we have log 6 times 9 is 54. 54 over 27, that's 2. So the answer is 2 log 10. When we divide 54 by 27, we have 2. So the answer is log 2 base 10, option B. All right. Number 16 of the WAEC question. All right. It said Bola sold an article for 6,900 and made a profit of 15%. Calculate his percentage profit if he had sold it for 6,600 naira. Now, we know that when we find 100% of cost price, it's just the same as cost price. All right. But when we add something to the 100%, like 15% now in this case, we're going to get 115%. So it means that by selling this article at 6,900 naira, it's making a 15% on the 100% cost price. So that's 100 plus 15. We know that's 115. And that's, let's write it as 115 directly, 115%. But mind you, the answer we're going to get by using this method will give us the percentage increase already that will be added to 100%. Now, what is the percentage profit when it's selling it at 6,600 naira? All right, we divide this by this, multiply by this. So we have 115% over 6,900 times 6,600. All right, 2 0 cancel 2 zeros, naira cancel the naira. So when we multiply 115 by 66. All right, 115 times 66, we're going to have 7590 divided by 69. All right, when we divide by 69, the answer is 110. And I said this is actually the answer we're going to get. That is, there's a additional profit added to it. So the profit actually here is what? By subtracting 100%, we're going to get 10%. All right. Okay, that's that. We have another method we can use, but just to save time. The next question. So this answer is option B. All right. The next question is about simultaneous equation. So if 3p equals to 4q and then 9p equals to 8q minus 12, find the value of pq. Now, for the first equation, we try to bring the term on the right to the left. So we're going to have 3p minus 4q equals to 0. And for the second one, 9p equals to 8q minus 12. When we transfer 8q to the left, we're going to have 9p minus 8q equals to minus 12. Now, I would like to also use the elimination method, and by that I can multiply equation 1 by 3 if I want to eliminate p, or multiply equation 1 by 2 if I want to eliminate q, or just subtract. Alright, so let me go with eliminating p first. So I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 3 and then equation 2 by 1. So we have equation 1 by 3, we're going to have 3 times 3p, that's 9p. 3 times minus 4q, we have minus 12q. 3 times 0, we have 0. Then the second equation is the same because we're multiplying by 1. Alright, let's subtract to eliminate p now. 9p minus 9p, then minus 12q minus 8q. 0 minus minus 12. Okay, 0 minus 12. Okay, so we're going to have now, when we multiply the minus and minus, we have plus 8q. Then minus times minus, we have plus 12. 8q minus 12q is same as minus 12q plus 8q. So, and that's minus 4q equals to 12. Don't forget, to find the value of pq. In the question, we're going to multiply p and q. So let's proceed. Divide both sides by minus 4. All right. So minus 4 cancels minus 4. Q equals to minus 3. Because minus 4 and 12 is minus 3. Now let's substitute minus 3 as q in any of the equations. So let us go with the equation 1 here. All right. That's 3p minus 4 equals 0. So anywhere I see q, I'll change to minus 3. So 3p minus 4 q, I'll q change to minus 3 equals to 0. So 3p minus 4 times minus 3 is 12 equals to 0. So 3p equals to minus 12. Divide both sides by 3. It implies that our p equals to minus 4. And by the question, we're to find pq. P is minus 3. Q is minus 3 and then p is minus 4. So p times q is minus 4 times minus 3. And we multiply, the answer is 12. And that's leads us to option A as the correct answer. Okay, the next question, number 18, WAEC 2019, said this is a question on solving indicial equations by applying laws of indices. Just like we solved number 2 question earlier, we convert this fraction, decimal to fraction. So we have 25 over 100 all raised to power y equals to 32. Simplifying this, 25 here is 1, 25 here is 4, so we have 1 over 4 raised to power y. And don't forget, we can write 32 as 2 raised to power 5. Okay, 2 raised to power 5, 2 in 5 places, when multiplied, we have 32. 1 over 4 can be written as 1 over 2 squared raised to power y, 2 raised to power 5. And then by reciprocal law, the negative power law, I can write this so that I have my denominator as 1. So this has changed this one to negative power 2, then y. 3 raised to power 5. When we multiply by loss of indices, the product of indices here, minus 2 times y, we have minus 2y, and then 3 raised to power 5. Because the base are the same, we can cancel. So minus 2y equals to 5. Then divide both sides by minus 2 to get our y. So we have minus 2 here and also minus 2 here. So this minus 2 cancels minus 2. Y equals to 5 over minus 2. So the answer is minus 5 over 2. Let's just leave that way. And that's how we have the answer. Option A is the correct answer. Minus 5 over 2 is our y. Okay. The next one, number 19, said this is a question on probability. So there are 8 boys and 4 girls in the lift. What is the probability that the first person who steps out of the lift will be boy? Now we have 8 plus 4, that's 12 persons. Persons on the lift now. So typically, how many are boys? We have 8. So by formula of probability, we know that it's always the number of required outcome over total possible outcome, and this is the total possible outcome here. So for a person to step out of the lift and the person will be a boy, it must be any of the 8 boys are out of all the 12 individuals we have on the lift. So 4 in 8 is 2, and then 4 here is 3. So the correct option is option C, number 19. All right. Number 20. This question is about simplification of algebraic expression. We have a quadratic at the numerator and also quadratic at the denominator. Just simple analysis as well. Thank God it's already in descending powers of your x squared minus 5x raised to power 1 and minus 14x raised to power 0, which we don't even refer to the x raised to power 0, we just keep mute about it. Now we multiply the first term and the last term to get our product. So what our product here is what? Minus 14x squared. And then for the sum, it's always the middle term. That is the term with power 1, x raised to power 1. That is your unknown x with power 1. That's your sum. The same thing goes with the denominator. To get the product, you multiply the term with the highest power, which is x squared, with 14x raised to power 0. When we multiply, we have positive 14x squared. And then the sum is also the term with power 1. This is your unknown x with power 1. That's the term is minus 9x raised to power 1. All right. Now looking at the numerator first, we want to factorize the numerator. What are the 2 factors? Because we always start with analyzing the product first. What are the 2 factors? If I multiply, it'll give me minus 14x squared, and if I sum up, I'll get minus 5x at the same time. Those 2 factors will be minus 7 and plus 2. So I'm going to decompose this middle term here, this minus 5x into minus 7x plus 2x. So we have x squared minus 7x plus 2x minus 14. For the denominator, when we analyze the product first also and the sum alongside, let's start with the product. What are the 2 factors that will multiply give us 14x squared, and when we sum up we get minus 9x? The 2 factors will be minus 7x and minus 2x. When we multiply that, we'll get 14x squared, and when we add up minus 7x and minus 2x, we're going to get minus 9x. So decomposing this middle term also into minus 7x and minus 2x, we're going to have x squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14. Now picking the first 2 terms here, factorizing what is the HCF? The HCF is x, dividing each of them by x, we're going to have x minus 7. Also picking the next 2 terms, HCF is also 2 here, dividing each of them by 2, we're going to have x left as quotient, and then the second one minus 7 left as quotient. Alright, the denominator now, for the first 2 terms as denominator, these 2 terms, when we divide by x being the HCF, we're going to have x minus 7. Also the same thing goes here. Sorry, the HCF here will be referred to as minus 2x, minus 2, sorry. Then we have dividing each of them, the last 2 by minus 2, we're going to have x and then minus 7. Alright, for the numerator, x minus 7 is the HCF. Divide the first term, the whole of this by x minus 7, we're going to have x. Dividing the whole of this also by x minus 7, we're going to have plus 2. Alright, and then for the denominator too, x minus 7 is common. Alright, so when we divide the whole of the first term by x minus 7, we're going to have x left as a quotient. Also when we divide the second term by x minus 7, we're going to have minus 2 left. And what we cancel out here is this, cancel out this because it's common. So the final answer is x plus 2 over x minus 2, and that's option D. Correct option is option D. Alright, thank you. Please make sure you subscribe and share this with your friends. Thank you.